What's going on, guys? My name is Faris Khan, and in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how you can get rid of shin splints and help to prevent them altogether. Let's get right to it. The first exercise that I love doing is rolling out the shin. The shin has two main parts to it. Anterior tibialis, which is the front of the shin, and not directly into the front, more so to the side of that front portion. Then there's the posterior tibialis, which is towards the back. This isn't to be completely confused with the calf because this is superficial. The calf is going to cover it up, but there are certain exercises and movements that we can do that is going to help to loosen it up from the front and the back. So for this, you're going to need a roller. I like to use harder rollers, and this is one thing where you're gonna really have to kind of just gauge it and see how it feels. If this is too much for you, then you're gonna need to scale it back. If you can handle this, then I'll show you ways where you can make this even more intense or more beneficial for you. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put the shin on this roller, and again, not directly over the bone, but more so towards the side. So it got to the side right there, and then you're simply going to roll the entire length of your shin. So below the kneecap, pretty much all the way up until your ankle. Now, if this, like I mentioned, is too much pressure, then you might have some very severe shin splints, and you're just gonna need to hold off for a little bit until that cools down. You're gonna need some anti-inflammatories. You're gonna need to ice it. That's gonna help reduce some of the inflammation initially, and then you might be able to get into this. If you find that you can put more pressure, then you can actually stack your opposite leg on top and then roll just like such. This is gonna apply a lot more pressure, and it's gonna feel very deep. And notice how I'm rolling slowly over that muscle, okay? I'm not trying to speed through it. This should feel uncomfortable, but not painful. And you'll notice that the more you roll, the better it gets. So after about 30 seconds of doing this, it doesn't even feel as tender. I like to do this for 3 minutes, okay? At least 3 minutes until that tenderness kind of dissipates a little bit. Now, if you don't have a roller, what you can do is you can actually take your hands and you can kind of massage into that anterior tibialis. So I'm gonna use my thumbs, and I'm going to just kind of rub it the entire length of that muscle. And this is actually really good because you can get in those specific areas that are pretty tender. You can kind of find those areas where you feel it most, and you can just dig your thumbs into it. This is really, really effective. If you even have a massage gun, that's also a great tool you can use to get those specific areas, and then obviously it does all of that for you. But this is just another way, if you don't have the roller, kind of massage right into it. And again, I would do this for a good amount of time, at least 3 to 5 minutes, until you feel that tenderness kind of go away a little bit. So now that we've been able to roll out and relieve some tension from the anterior tibialis, let's go ahead and do the same with the posterior tibialis. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this roller. I'm gonna place it behind the shin, and keep in mind, the posterior tibialis is going to be very deep. So you will be rolling your calf muscles as well. But there are specific things that we can do that are going to hit those more tender areas. So the same exact thing that you're gonna do, you're gonna roll the entire length from behind the shin. And I like to start just not directly behind the knee, but just below it. From there, I'm going to roll it all the way kind of just above the heel. And keep in mind too that this is a pretty hard roller. If you're not used to this, you may want to use something a little bit softer. So I'm just going to support myself onto my hands, and then I'm going to roll all the way back and then forward. And notice how I'm going very slow with this, just like how I did with the front of the shin. I want to make sure that I'm hitting those tender areas and going nice and slow over it. If you feel like you need more pressure, then you can stack your leg, and that's gonna make it a lot deeper. And one thing you can do with this too is you can kind of rotate your shin. You may find that towards the outside, you are a little bit more tender versus if you were just directly straight down. So I'll do this for anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. And again, you want to do it long enough until that tenderness kind of dissipates a bit. And again, if you do not have a roller, you can just dig in with your fingers. You can use your thumbs, find those tender areas, and just kind of really massage it deeply. Again, this is a great time to use a massage gun if you have one, but if not, your fingers will do the job. All right, so now that we've got those out the way, I want to get into some active stretches. So one of my favorite active stretches that I like to do is the half kneeling mobilizer. So I'm going to get into a half kneeling position just like this. I want to make sure that my front foot is not too far from my back knee. If I'm too far out, then the stretch is going to be more felt in the hip flexor versus around the shin, which is where we want to feel it. So I'm going to make sure that it's not too close, just, couple inches of a distance there. And what I want to do from here is I want to lunge forward while maintaining my heel of that front foot on the ground. I want to bring my front knee past the toes. This is going to feel a deep stretch predominantly towards the back, that posterior tibialis area. But if you're somebody who's dealing with shin splints, then you should also feel this towards the front as well. So I want to hold that for about 5 seconds. And then I'm going to rock back to this neutral position. So then I'm going to repeat this. And I like to do this 20 times per side. About a 5-second hold. And each time you do another rep, you can get further and further. And that stretch is going to intensify. Good. Now we're going to switch to the opposite side. Good. I feel this one a lot deeper towards the side here and then back. I love this one. And these are things that you can do every single day. What's good about this particular exercise is it's also going to help to mobilize your ankle. So that is also one of the bigger contributing factors to your shin splints. If you have some immobile ankles and you're, let's say, a runner, a jumper, maybe you play basketball or you're a dancer, those tight ankles can be contributing to the shin splints. Every time you land, it's going to be altering where that pressure is placed on the tibia. So this is one great way to kind of help prevent those issues as well. Whew. Nice. 20 per side, and that should be good for you. All right, now this next exercise is going to be a wonderful stretch for the anterior tibialis. This is going to feel either amazing or it's going to suck so badly. But if you're dealing with shin splints, this is the greatest stretch that you can do, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to get both your knees down. I'm going to plant my foot. So I'm going to point the toes away from my shin. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to sit back kind of on my heels, okay? And of course, the deeper you sit back, the more of a stretch that you're gonna start to feel in the front of that shin. Now, what I'm gonna do here is I wanna make sure that my heels are not kind of flaring out, okay? I'm making sure that they're just under me and I'm sitting over them. And the more you sit, the deeper it's going to get into a stretch. Naturally, you're gonna kind of come down a little bit more, but the more used to it you're gonna feel. So I like to sit in this stretch for literally at least a minute or so, and I'll do multiple sets. To be honest, you can even sit and watch a movie in this position. If you're somebody who has some very bad shin splints, you need to be doing this for a little bit longer, but minimum, try to get at least a minute for about 3 to 4 sets. So 4 to 5 minutes in that case. But what's good about this is that you can still actually pinpoint where you feel most of that tension. So one thing I like to do with this is that I can even shift my weight to one side. And the more I shift to one side, the deeper it gets on that specific side right there. And then I can even rock to the other side, just like that. And if you feel like this isn't even enough tension for you or enough of a stretch for you, then you can start to bring more of your body weight towards the back, all right? Way over those shins. And now this is so deep. I can probably only sit in this for about a minute before I need to come out and relax. Just like any stretch that you do, it should feel uncomfortable but not painful, okay? So you need to find that good point where you feel like you can sit in it for a few minutes without feeling like you're going to scream. One thing to keep in mind with this too, if you have super bulky shoes, it's probably better that you take them off. All right, so now that we've learned how to stretch it and relieve the tension from the shins, how can we strengthen them so that we can prevent shin splints altogether? Well, one of my favorite exercises is an isometric squat hold, all right? So what you're gonna do is you're first gonna actually elevate your heels, not into a calf raise, but you wanna lean forward just to that point to where your heels are elevated. Now what you're gonna do, you're gonna get into a deep squat. You don't need to be too deep, but the main thing here is that your body position is a lot further forward. That way your shins are working just to keep you from falling over. I like to hold this position for up to 2 minutes every single day. And you're gonna feel this big time in your quads. You're gonna start shaking. And this is a great one just for some overall preventative maintenance, because isometrics are wonderful not only for your muscles, but also for your tendons. As an athlete, you should absolutely be hitting these. You can easily be able to get 2 minutes of these each and every day. Once you get very good at that variation, we can take it a step further and go into a single leg variation. Now, it's not true single leg because both your feet are still on the floor, but the emphasis is placed on our front leg. So you're gonna get into an isometric split squat, okay? Notice how my back knee is going to be closer to the floor. And what I wanna do is I wanna lunge forward till that heel elevates. All the weight is on this shin. And why I like this single-legged variation or this iso lunge variation is because it really targets that shin a lot more. And I'm putting my chest and my body weight over that front foot, which is making this work even more. And this is one where I'll hold it for about a minute and then of course switch to the other side. These are again wonderful. You can do these at home, don't need any equipment, do it while you're brushing your teeth, do it while you're just chilling, whatever. But I'm telling you, this is such a great one to prevent those shin splints. And another thing about this exercise, as well as that heel elevated isometric squat, is that depending on your level, you can actually do it for less time or even more time. The goal is gonna be 1 minute to 2 minutes, but if you're just starting out, 30 seconds is better than none, okay? Work to your level and then work your way up. All right, guys, so for the next strengthening exercise, you're going to need a wall or something that you can put your body weight and lean up against without it falling over. So I've got this fence right here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna lean all the way up against this fence, and I wanna straighten my legs and have my feet further in front of my body. From this position, I'm going to pull the toes towards my shin as far as they can go. I wanna hold it for about a second, and then I wanna slowly bring it back down. What this is going to do is this is going to strengthen the front of your shins. This is one of the greatest ways to prevent those shin splints because they're going to make your shins extremely strong. And I like to do this one for some high volume. So about 2 to 3 sets of 20 reps. And you're going to notice that even though it's a very small movement, you're going to start to feel that burn very quickly. You want to make sure that you get as much range of motion as possible as you do this. Whew, those are tough, but definitely worth it. And the final exercise that I absolutely love doing to strengthen up that lower leg and helping prevent those shin splints are calf raises. These are wonderful because you can do them absolutely everywhere. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that my feet are about hip width apart. I'm gonna stand up tall, and I'm just going to raise my heel up as high as I can and then control myself down. Very simple. If you have issues with balance, you can hold on to something in front of you or to the side of you. And you really want to go through this motion nice and slowly. Just like the previous exercise we did, I like to do this for some high volume. So about 2 to 3 sets of 20 reps. You're really going to start to feel it as the reps go on. And if you have a staircase or some ledge that you can hang your foot off of, even better, because that's going to allow you for more range of motion. But if not, right off of the floor is perfect for you. It's going to be tough, but it's totally worth it. There you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If it was helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and share with everybody else you think can benefit. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section down below. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future content. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm going to see you guys soon.